Tales of Veldrith, created by Matty Taylor. Book 6, Eira's Reckoning.
Episode 58, Vestiges of Vestinus.
They pushed deeper into the Veilwood the next morning. The air grew still again, and the light went flat, as if the sky had forgotten how to change. Eira kept the cord tied at her wrist. Brander marked trees with his knife. Leona tested the path with her oiled pebble and short puffs of dust. Step by step, the forest allowed them in. The hum underfoot rose. It wasn't the harsh buzz of a poisoned node. It was steadier, warmer. Eira felt it in her ribs more than in her teeth. She slowed without meaning to.
Feel that?
She asked. Leona nodded.
A strong line runs close, not tainted.
They came to a shallow dip in the ground, no wider than a longhouse. The grass inside it had been burned down to black, but not by ordinary fire. The soil shone in fine lines like glass drawn with a needle. In the centre lay a mark cut into the char, 2 crossing arcs with a short bar through the join. Eira stopped at the edge. The shape hit her like a hand on the chest.
That's his,
she said. Brander frowned.
You're sure?
Eira knelt. She had seen that sigil scratched into a shield for luck, pressed into wax seals, traced once on her palm before a hard fight. Vestinus had carved it with the point of his knife whenever he claimed ground in battle. He said it meant, hold fast. He said it was older than he was.
It's his,
she repeated. Leona stayed outside the burn and shook a small pinch of grey powder into the air, then another. Over cold ground the dust drifted and fell. Over the char it rose and trembled, shining faint blue.
Not void,
she said.
Not a guardian trap. This is line bloom. It's what I see when a ley node flares clean and then settles.
Eira glanced up.
So a node flared here?
Leona set a copper ring on the rim of the dip. The thin needle inside swung, paused, and pointed straight into the mark.
Not a node,
she said.
A conduit.
Brander looked at the burn again with new care.
So he came through?
Leona's mouth tightened.
Maybe not with flesh, but something of him touched here.
They circled the dip. On one side, a young ash had split from crown to root. The heartwood was dark, like iron scorched and cooled. At the base lay a small wire cage, just like the ones they had found at the node, a test frame from the Order. Its thin bars had melted and fused into a lump. Where the voidstone bead should have hung, only ash remained. Eira let out a slow breath.
He found one of theirs.
Leona prodded the slag with a stick.
Or it came too close to him and died. Either way, this wasn't the Order's work. It ruined their work.
A faint smell hung over the dip, not tar, not rot. It was like metal after lightning, and a hint of time crushed under boot. Eira closed her eyes and saw, for a heartbeat, the shape of a horned silhouette standing where the mark lay. Heat ran up her arms as if a wide hand had lifted her, a word pressed against her ear, low and steady. Hold fast. She opened her eyes. The dip was empty. The hum underfoot ebbed to a calm pulse. Brander was watching her.
You heard him,
he said softly.
I heard something that sounded like him,
Eira said. Her voice was rough.
Could be the forest playing tricks. Could be the line speaking with a voice I want to hear.
Leona crouched and touched 2 fingers to the edge of the mark, careful not to step in.
You're not wrong to hope,
she said.
Listen, when we destroyed the lens, the lines were thrown into chaos. If Vestinus died on a surge, his body may have failed, but the rest of him, call it spirit, call it will, could have gone into the current. The Caduci were made to carry power. He was already partway there.
Are you saying he's alive?
Brander asked.
I'm saying parts of him may move with the ley,
Leona answered.
When a node flares, he might gather. When it quiets, he might spread thin again. If that's true, the Order's work would pull him. Every anchor they set, every test, would tug at what's left of him.
Eira stared at the fused cage.
Then Kesh can drag him like a fish on a line.
Leona met her eyes.
If we let him?
They found more signs as they walked the edges of the dip. A strip of bark, peeled clean, 3 shallow cuts beneath. Practice strokes Eira had seen Vestinus carve on dead wood to loosen his arm. A patch of fern blasted into ash with a neat edge, as if drawn with a string. A trail of prints so faint the earth barely remembered them, not hoofed, not booted. More like heat had pressed the ground without weight.
Enough,
Eira said at last. She took a small clean cloth from her pouch and wrapped a pinch of the glass-drawn soil, a flake of fused wire, and a thread of bark with the 3 cuts.
Proof for Sigvard and for me.
They moved on. The line bloom faded behind them, and the forest tightened its grip. A shimmer of air opened to Eira's left, showing a sunlit road and Jorvik's gate beyond it. Branda tossed a lump of cold ash through the shimmer. It did not land. The image rippled and closed.
Good try.
Branda muttered to the wood. They reached a low ridge and looked down on a second clearing, smaller than the first. Here the ground was not burned, but something had passed that left a wide, shallow swirl in the leaves, like water pushed by a slow oar. At the centre, Leona found a nail driven deep into a root with a scrap of cloth tied to it. The cloth bore the hollow triskil drawn in oily ink, already seeping into the fibres.
A beacon,
Leona said.
for the Order's crews, marking where the pull is strongest.
She sniffed the cloth and grimaced.
Void oil, new.
They're close.
Eira said. Branda checked their flanks, spear ready.
They could be watching.
Let them.
Eira said.
We're not here to hide.
Even so, they left the beacon where it was. Better to know where the Order would return than to drive them to another place they couldn't watch. Leona sketched the clearing and marked the ridgelines, then tucked the page into a waxed case. By afternoon, the hum sharpened again. They followed it to a narrow cut, where water slid over stone in a thin sheet. The stream's sound was clean, honest. Eira knelt and touched it. Cool, safe.
Here.
Leona said, laying out her ring and needles. They twitched and then settled, both pointing along the run of water.
The line rides the stream bed. If Vestinus rides the line, this is where we could hear him best.
They waited. The forest clicked and sighed. A moth beat its wings near Leona's lantern. Time dragged. Eira let her hand rest on the stream and thought of the sigil burned into the ground, of a promise made with a knife point on her palm, of a voice that had steadied her steps more than once. The water grew warmer at her fingertips. Not hot, not painful, just warm enough to notice. A small strand of light, pale as dawn, threaded through the sheet and climbed across her knuckles like a vein. It pulsed once and was gone. Leona caught her breath.
Did you see?
I saw it.
Eira said. Branda looked between them.
So, not a ghost and not just a trick of the leaves.
Leona's eyes were bright now, not with joy but with hard focus.
If he's in the lines, the Order will feel him too. Kesh will want him, either to use him as a key or to break him so the line stops answering.
Eira stood and dried her hand. The warmth lingered like a small coal in her palm.
Then we don't give him that chance. We take what we found back to Jorvik. We set watches on this stream and on the burned dip. And we plan to move when Kesh does.
She glanced once more at the water.
If you can hear me, hold fast. We're coming.
The stream ran on, quiet and steady. They marked their route out of the heart of the wood. The path still tried to fold over them, but the oiled pebble complained at each turn, and the cord tugged true. When at last they stepped into open air, the sky had shifted toward evening for real, and the wind felt like wind again. On the edge of the trees, Leona tightened the straps of her satchel.
I'll need more tool,
She said.
more copper, more powder, a stronger ring. If Kesh brings the void heart near a node, the pull will be worse than anything we felt.
Branda rolled his shoulders.
And I'll find men who don't scare easy.
Eira looked back at the Veilwood. In her mind she saw the mark in the ash, clean and certain. She held her palm to her chest, where that little warmth still sat, and breathed.
Tharivor Kesh is moving,
She said.
So are we.
Older than the mountains, older than the stone. A memory I carry, a seed that was sown. I saw it on a shield, a scratch for luck's embrace. Pressed into the warm wax, leaving its faint trace. You drew it on my palm, a breath before the fight, a promise in the darkness, a sliver of the light. This carving means hold fast. The words you said to me, a sigil of the ages for all the world to see. With the point of your sharp knife on every blood-soaked field, you claimed the ground for victory, the fate the gods revealed. You said it was far older than even your own name, a fire in the embers, a never-ending flame. This car